Hey guys, welcome to the Swanky Productions channel. My name is Ben. If you like what you see here today and you want to make sure you see more, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the bell after you subscribe. That way it'll let you know anytime I put a new video out. Today, my Gen 3 KLR 650 is finally getting some new tires. Now, right after I got out of the dealership parking lot, I took this immediately to some trails, and I had said during that video that I was going to try to make these things work, and I was going to burn them off before I switched them over, but after a couple more rides, I decided it just was not worth getting hurt over. The type of terrain that I ride on, these tires are just not up to the task. These, however, I think should do quite well. So I'll have links for all this stuff down in the description. These are the Tusk D-Sports. These are a DOT approved tire, but boy, they are mean looking. This is the Tusk tire change stand. I got this in a couple days ago and used it for the first time last night. I absolutely love this thing. It is so nice to be up off of the ground. And I have to say a huge thanks to Rocky Mountain ATV. They sent me the majority of the stuff that you're going to be seeing in the video today. I will have links for all of it down in the description. If you use those links to the Rocky Mountain ATV page and you buy anything on their site, they don't charge you anything extra, but they send a little bit of the proceeds back my way, which really makes this whole YouTube thing a lot more economical, and I do really appreciate when you guys use those links. To show my appreciation for you guys, and because I just love this tire change stand so much, I'm actually going to give one of these away. So if you want to enter to win that, just leave a comment down below. Tell me why you want this stand and what your experience is with changing tires. I'm getting better, but the first time that I tried to change a set, I definitely ended up popping a tube and giving up and taking it into a dealership to have it fixed. I've been doing good now, and I guess we'll keep our fingers crossed today. Hopefully all goes well and we don't pop any tubes. Speaking of tubes, Rocky Mountain ATV sent me these. We've got the tube for the rear, heavy duty, which is I think the way to go. Also ultra heavy duty for the front. We've got a couple parts that I would definitely recommend picking up. I would not try to start off changing tires with the wrong tools or not enough tools. I would say definitely go for either this longer style of the Motion Pro Bead Breaker spoon tool set. They do also sell a slightly smaller trail version of this, which probably would have been better to pick up. These are pricey. The tires I think will come off pretty easy today, but if you ever ran into a bead that did not want to come off, it is super nice to have something like this. This guy is actually kind of nice. I've had this for a long time, and it really does kind of come in handy. Having this extra little swoop there could kind of help you out around the rim. Definitely nice to have 3. You can get away with 2. Definitely need one of these guys. I can put a link down in the description for one of these. This is going to help me make sure that all of the air is removed from my tires and not just some. That's what I tried the first time around, and that didn't go so well. I prefer dish soap. I do have this slightly watered down to kind of stretch it a bit. And the reason I prefer this to just a spritz bottle is that I don't really need the water. I just need the slippery soap, and I need it right where I need it, not everywhere all over the place and dripping onto the floor. Along that same line, we've got some baby powder in a bag here. This is definitely a nice way to kind of keep things contained. It makes the tube a lot more slippery when it's trying to find its way into the tire, into the right spot. And then we've also got some tire weights here. I would suggest picking up a set of these beforehand, not after. I learned my lesson last time I tried to change tires, and now I'm ready to go this time rather than having to ride around with a bumpy tire. The other thing that we will need specifically for the Gen 3 KLR is this 14mm Allen socket. Is it a socket? I guess it's still a socket, right? Socket wrench. It's on a breaker bar. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so this is the right size to fit into here, and this is the only thing that you have to turn actually. On the Gen 2, you would have had a bolt on this side, but this actually just threads into the fork. So no bead braking required with the stock tires, really. That actually went super smooth. I think these will be pretty easy off, and I assume that the D-Sports are going to be pretty easy on, but I guess we'll find out. These are Motion Pro rim protectors. Also be a link for these down in the description. Even if you don't have painted wheels, these are still kind of a nice thing to have so you don't scratch up your aluminum. Now, you definitely don't need to be an expert to change tires, but you have to keep 2 basic things in mind. 1, take as small bites as possible. That's going to make the job go faster, even though maybe it seems like it would be slower at first. And 2, on the opposite side that you're doing any sort of spooning on, you want to make sure that you shove the bead of the tire down into the deep valley of the rim. That's going to give you the most space to work with on the other side, and it'll keep you from snapping the band inside of the tire or wrecking the bead. Now, I would never suggest reusing a tube that you're pulling out of a stock tire, mostly because they're going to be probably a pretty thin material, but it never hurts to have an extra set laying around, so I always keep my tubes when I pull them out. Which means you want to be somewhat gentle, however, pulling this out is a little bit of a violent process. Oh, it blew in my ear. I'm not seeing a white dot or a yellow dot on here. I'm guessing that there's not any sort of indication of where the light side of the tire is or the heavy side of the tire. So I guess we'll just have to take a guess. Ooh, that is thick. As far as these guys go, I was actually just reading on a forum that these are only supposed to be tightened down while you're putting the tire on and seating the bead, and after that you're actually supposed to back these off and then back them into each other a little ways up the shank of this. And basically the reasoning behind that is if you're in a situation where you hit the brakes hard and this goes to spin, you don't want to tear anything off inside of there. You'd rather have it just cocked to the side a little bit, so that gives you a little bit of wiggle room before it tears. And I was also reading on there that people will find them loose and then tighten them up, and I've definitely done that. I did that on my Gen 2 when I had the shop put the tubes and tires on there, and I thought they had just rattled loose, but apparently they're left loose for a reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a shot on this one. And now's the part where you really hope you didn't screw anything up. So this is the side that keeps rising to the top, and it looks like that's actually the spoke that originally had the weight on it. So I'm wondering if maybe it's actually my rim that's a little bit heavy there. So I'll clamp that back on and see how that looks. So that's seeming pretty good. I think I'm gonna throw this back on and we'll worry about it later if it's an issue. A bit of grease on here. Oh, that looks cool. So much better than these goofy things. Make sure you get your axle bolt tightened down to the desired torque before you put in the 2 clamping bolts. Feels about right. And never put fasteners into aluminum with an impact. So this back here is going to be a little bit different than what I'm used to. We've still got a cotter pin in here. We've got the castle nut to take off. Essentially what we're going to do is shove that wheel all the way forward so we can loosen the chain up and pull that off. One thing you got to keep in mind is that this is sort of slotted onto a pawl on your swing arm here, and also that this is of course sitting on the rotor, so we've got to be careful. We don't want to just tear this off of here, but a little bit of juggling I had to get it off. This really shouldn't be an issue on a bike that has this few miles, but never hurts to check. This is your cush drive, so if any of those rubber pieces don't look so good, then you want to make sure you replace them, but that all looks fine. So when I pulled the front tube off, I guess I kind of forgot whether or not there was a nut on the inside of the rim to begin with, and that's why I had looked it up online. I'm not sure if necessarily what I did on the front one now and what I found online was wrong, but this tube, it seems like the nut is tightened down to the little washer that's in here, even though it does seem sort of odd to have a nut on the inside of the rim. The nice thing is it's going to keep the washer in place, and I won't have to make sure that it's still on there when I install it like I did on the front one. So I guess we'll do it both ways and see which one pops first. These things like literally seated themselves. There was one portion of this that wasn't seated, and I just gave it a bounce on the floor without any air in it yet at all. And it just popped right into place. I don't know how these will do out on the road or the trail, but I definitely like them so far. So the rear seems a little valve heavy, and I'm not sure if there would have been a better spot in the tire. Again, no dot on it to tell you which side was heavy or light. So looks like we just end up with the valve stem at the bottom here. So I'm going to stick this opposite the chain side just so that way it keeps a little bit of grease off of it. Uh-oh. I gotta figure it out and we'll get it put back on. This whole new swing arm is such a pain in the butt to get back together. These pieces inside here actually move independently and they're all full of dirt. It's really not ideal. Trying to get it all lined up too is a lot more difficult than it was on the Gen 2. Just look at the precision and engineering that went into this. It'll be easy to set that the same on both sides. Well, that was definitely more of a hassle than I thought it would be, but I've got to say, definitely worth the effort. Those look absolutely awesome on here. Definitely going to be much more up to the task of what I plan on putting the KLR through this summer. Again, if you guys want to make sure you see those videos, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the bell after you're subscribed so it'll let you know anytime I put a video out. Until next time, guys, make sure and let me know if you want to win that stand down in the comments section. That'll get you entered to win. Other than that, guys, take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out, enjoy this beautiful world if you can. And if you can't, here's some more videos to check out in the meantime.